host of the Gridiron.
Fourth and goal to go with the 2. 34 seconds left to go in the ball game. This is the play right now. Takes the snap. Targeted goes in. Targeted all alone. And the quarterback keeps. Wow, what a call. Nobody touched him.
And of course, you've seen this here, of course, and this is, I mean, it's just, was in the middle of Darius Alexander's, the yak-offs media. It's like, they're there to talk about Darius Alexander and the jerk pause offs. Or asking Daboll and Schoen about what's going on with Shedeur Sanders. I mean, anyway. And Shane's like, this is about Darius. This is his time. I'm not going to talk about other players. You stupid idiots. So he brushed it aside. I think with a little smile on his face. But one of the things you're hearing about, with Shedeur. We had a couple things. I mean, there's one here, right? This is from, let's say, it's from Yahoo Sports. It was an anonymous coach, right? So I mean, a lot of times you tell somebody, you say it was off the record, or keep my name out of it, or something like that, right? So I mean, this is what these people are doing. So I mean, because if a guy's going to go out of his way, right, and give you some info, right, on somebody, he says, keep my name out of it or something, blah blah blah, whatever. Right? You better do it, or you're not going to get any information from the guy ever again. But it's just common courtesy. If this guy is telling you something, maybe you're not supposed to know, whatever, and he's telling you, right? If he says keep my name out of it, you got it, brother. Yes, sir. Thank you for the information, right? So, but, I mean, it's not, everything's not everything, right? But, everything is something, right? And it's the same thing with Shane. Shane talk, everything, he looks at everything. And I said, one of the things is, it's just simple, stupid kind of stuff, right? He would he would ask people at the college, right? Yeah, draft this guy, right? Right? When he's in the cafeteria, right, he's getting lunch or something, how's he treating cafeteria ladies? It's just something simple, something stupid, something ridiculous, or whatever. No. Huh? How does he treat somebody? That's huge, right? Do you walk up and say, hey, some of that? Yeah, right here. Nah, keep it coming. I mean, is it like that? Or, hey, can I have some potatoes, please? It means a lot. It does. I mean, and I understand it's, the guy's a phenomenal player and stuff like that. I can see, but, is that somebody you want to have on your team? If you're in the restaurant and somebody brings some water to you, just pour some water. Oh, thank you very much. Or do they pour water and you just don't even acknowledge it? Everything means something, but everything doesn't mean but just small things, So, but I mean, it's Shedeur Sanders ripped by an anonymous coach before NFL draft. It was the worst formal interview I've ever had in my life. You thought Colorado quarterback Shedeur Sanders was a polarizing NFL draft prospect among fans. Wait until you hear what anonymous coaches are saying about him. One NFL assistant turned to Sanders in the lead up to this draft, saying the quarterback turned in the worst formal interview ever, according to the NFL Network's Tom Pelissero. Pelissero spoke to multiple coaches and executives ahead of the draft, asking them to evaluate the top quarterback prospects available. It should come as no surprise that Sanders drew some of the most extreme quotes. The most damning quote came from a longtime NFL assistant coach who ripped Sanders' attitude, body language, and performance during the team's formal interview. I mean, one of the reasons why he's maybe where where he is. Didn't get drafted in first, second. Well, I mean, you're not Jesus Christ. Right? These people are, you're going to become an employee of theirs, right? Right. So when you have maybe a future employer, maybe going to hire you, right? You show them some respect. Apparently, according to some of these guys, that was one of the last things on Shedeur's mind, right? One longtime NFL assistant coach said his time with Sanders was the worst formal interview I've ever been in my life. He's so entitled. He takes unnecessary sacks. He never plays on time. He has horrible body language. He blames teammates. But the biggest thing is he's not that good. That's the type of quote you see thrown around by hot take artists on social media. It's a quote with enough heat to keep you comfortable during the dead of winter in the Midwest. It's a quote that could result in multiple teams taking Sanders completely off their draft boards. It's also a quote made by an anonymous coach who didn't put their name on it. That must be taken into consideration when fully digesting the criticism. That coach may believe everything they said about Sanders. That coach may also be on a team that picks later in the first round and really likes Sanders. Maybe that quote was a deliberate strategy by the coach to depress Sanders' value so he falls to that team in the draft. Well, I got some more information here. So, the point is we don't know. It's impossible to figure out how much truth is contained in a quote if a person won't put their name on it. Well, I mean, a lot of guys don't put their names on them, but sometimes there's a reason. And of course, you have, Coach Prime responds to the Shedeur's criticism. Given Sanders' proximity to the spotlight, he's been a subject of criticism for years. His dad, obviously, Coach Prime, is laughable. He said the criticism is laughable. Well, see, the thing, is that, the one thing, I don't like is that, not as I said, but just with, just seeing Deion Sanders, right? Since his first year, I was 89, I think it was, with Atlanta. I saw him play. Back then it was Florida State and the U, right? And all, that was big games. So I seen him in college. I didn't see him in person, but I saw him on TV. Saw him at Atlanta. Of course, I saw him, when he was with the Cowboys because they played the Giants twice a year, right? So obviously he was with the 49ers. Then he finished his career in the early 2000s, all that. But one thing that, he was, Deion was always, confident, very confident and all that and everything. Well, one thing, he never did was, he never apologized for anything. He was always right. He would never apologize. I made a mistake. I did that wrong. I should. You'll never hear that from him. And it seems like the same thing with his son too. Just that's what it seems. But I mean, with Deion Sanders, it was just, he was always right. He's like Donald Trump. Like, you're wrong. I'm always right. So, but I mean, I can never see Coach Prime, saying he was wrong. Apologizing for anything. But there's this one thing here apparently from sources saying about Shedeur's time with the Giants. Okay. Now, I don't think Daboll's the one that said that. Once again, whoever knows who said that, but I don't think this is something Daboll would, I don't think Daboll said that he was the worst formal interview ever. But let's say so. The Giants weren't the only one to pass on Shedeur Sanders after an extensive scouting process. The entire NFL turned down the opportunity to pick Colorado quarterback deep into Friday night's third round. Sanders has been a controversial prospect. but his plummet past the top 2 rounds was a shocking and alarming drop for the confident son of Hall of Famer Deion Sanders. Giants GM Joe Schoen was not interested in discussing Sanders' fall after selecting defensive tackle Darius Alexander with the number 65 overall pick. I'm not going to get into that, Shane said. This is Darius's press conference and the New York Giants, so we can talk about that if you want. I don't want to talk about that. Yes, I'm not talking about other players itself. But Sanders had a bad private workout with the head coach, Brian Daboll. However, according to the Ringer's Todd McShay, that may illustrate one reason the quarterback is lingering on the board. Shedeur didn't have a great interview with Brian Daboll in a private visit, McShay said on Thursday night. An install package came in. Preparation wasn't there for it. He got called out on it. Didn't like it. Brian didn't appreciate him not liking it. I mean, what? I mean, if this is true, I mean, dude, what is your problem? Right? He gives you something to do, right? You come in, he wasn't prepared for it, didn't appreciate it and all that stuff and everything, and now you're giving the head coach a problem? Yeah, really? And you wonder why you're still sitting out there, huh? Wow. Daboll was asked about that report on Friday night, but I'd say we had good meetings with all the guys who came in here on 30 visits. Quarterback meetings were productive, and we're happy with Jackson, Daboll said. Then the coach changed the subject to Alexander. Yeah, but let's see. Only 3 quarterbacks total were selected in the top 2 rounds of this deep draft Friday night. The Louisville quarterback went to the Saints. The Saints finally got themselves a quarterback, but of course they didn't take a quarterback in the first round. You got to go all the way back. They only took 1 quarterback in the first round in their history. They came into the league in 1967. Only one time. Right, 67. Yeah, the Falcons were 66. 67 was the Saints. So only one time since 1967 that the Saints ever taken a quarterback in the first round, and that was Archie Manning, Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, right? Archie Manning in the 1971 draft. So the Saints are still, it's been since 1971 since they've taken still. But they took a quarterback in the second round, okay? Cam Ward obviously went number 1 overall, and Jackson Dart went at number 25. So 2 in the first, and I guess 1 in the second. But that was it. Let's see. But, I mean, once again, this is all, I mean, where McShay got the information about Daboll, right? I mean, he wants to see what you can do. I mean, especially at the top, off the top of your head, or, in a package, he gives you a little something. Maybe you got an install pack, I mean, if that's true. If it's true. I mean, if the other interview, once again, they were talking about too, that, it's the worst interview I've ever had in my life. Once again, it could be the guy's doing it on purpose, so his stock will fall, and he goes in the 3rd round, and that team scoops him up in the 3rd. That's possible. But then again, could be true. Right? But I mean, if coach asks you to do something and you're not prepared for it, and then you get called out on it, and then you give the coach an attitude or something like that, dude, are you kidding me? But once again, that's like a Deion kind of attitude. You know what I mean? But Deion, obviously with his skills and all that, he could be a little obviously cocky and this stuff because he was that good. But, if Shedeur never, apologizes for anything, that's just the way Deion was. Deion's like, I apologize. That was my mistake. I screwed up. So maybe that's one of the reasons. And he's still there. We're going into the third round, and you had you got 3 quarterbacks taken off the board, and you're not one of them and all. I mean, if you were that good, somebody would have taken you. right? I mean, because there are some teams out there that can use a quarterback. Or if worst comes to worst, is there teams out there that could use a backup quarterback. And you know, he's accurate, right? I mean, if you can get somebody who is apparently pretty good, right? And especially get him in like the second round, because I mean, the second round, you're only paying the guys maybe like $2 million a season or something, right? If he's your backup quarterback, right? For, $2 million or $1 million a season, I mean, heck, that's a bargain. But I mean, I said, if he was that good, somebody would pick him, right? I mean, he had his pro day. I don't know, to be honest with you, how many private workouts he had. That I don't know. But obviously he had his pro day, right? I know he was very accurate in his pro day. It was like 58 out of 63 or something like that. It was really, really ridiculous. But once again, it's not like a 2-team league. It's not a 1-team league. It's not even a 5-team. It's not even a 10-team. It's 32 teams, and they're all out for blood to win the Super Bowl. Okay? If you got somebody there is that good, right? You got 3 rounds, right? If you're that good, right, they'll draft you. So it might be the attitude. Maybe he's just not that good. Maybe a combination of who knows. But there's got to be a reason why. Right? So that's possibly one of the reasons why. I mean, because possibly if they had Dart in for and he gave Dart an install package, right? Quite possibly, you want to get drafted, you come prepared, right? So maybe Dart was prepared and Sanders wasn't. So it is what it is. All right, guys, I'll be back again tomorrow night. So the Giants got 4 more picks tomorrow, right? We got 105, I think it's 154, and then 2 in the 7th round. One of them's almost like the one of the last picks of the draft. But anyway, but don't forget, remember last season, 4th round, we got Theo Johnson, right? 5th round, we got Tyrone Tracy Jr., right? So if we can do as well this season with 105 and 154 as we did last season with Theo Johnson and Tyrone Tracy, there'll be another 2 good players added to the roster. So draft's been pretty good so far.